go status?
T-minus 30 seconds.
The morning mayhem.
TPA script running. Second stage LH2 securing started.
Ready for launch?
Ready to embark on a national security mission for the United States of America.
News Talk 92.
Range green.
Igniters armed. Rofi ignition.
KBU.
4, 3, and liftoff.
Standby to go to the partial thrust.
The morning mayhem is on.
Partial thrust mode now in the port booster as expected.
The morning mayhem is pre-recorded and for entertainment purposes only. News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Good morning, everybody. Here on this Monday morning, it's July 11th. It's 7-Eleven Day, everybody. Yay! And it's 70 degrees outside. High feels like 74. High of 94. And got some rain in the forecast there as well. So, let's see what we got on the hot sheets here for this morning. Camden Downtown Network will not be meeting. Dallas County Deputy Seal stops the dock. And belated happy birthday out there to the Honorable Judge David Graham and Miss Karen Aldridge Blackmon. There was a power surge spotted over at the local Walmart Friday night. Doesn't look like some kind of light show out there. El Dorado driver dies in a wreck with a trailer near Hampton. Conway City Council raises minimum wage for part-time and full-time employees. So look at that there. Hopefully they will get to actually enjoy that raise during this inflation. So we'll get into all that stuff right there as we kick off this Monday morning. And let's get this thing going here. Some other things that have been going on here. Been following the conversation with the deal with what are we calling this here? Legislative ordinance from the county. This is the one that's Cooper's Law. And I'm kind of at a loss here because, I mean, I'm trying to follow the consistency. So the issue is we're saying that everything is fine up to a certain point. So having the quorum court recommend personal flotation devices being used while using the Ouachita River, that's good. We like that. That's good. And then the other one was further designates county judge to place throwable flotation devices at all public access points on the river, including Tate's Bluff, Knights Landing, Sandy Beach, Riverwalk, Frenchport Landing, Spoon Bend, and any future public access point. And so far, that seems to be acceptable. And then further designates signage of danger alerts, green meaning low threat, yellow meaning medium threat, and red meaning high threat, dangerous, stay out the river. So we seem to be okay with those things there. The problem that we have is when it comes to the paragraph that says an ordinance setting a public access closure to all boat ramps on the Ouachita River with locked gates above flood stage of 26 feet. And we're not into that. So that seems to be the complaint there. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, you know, when it comes to the Riverwalk and when it comes to Sandy Beach, every time it's ever flooded since I've been here since 2016, there's always barricades out there. Somebody puts barricades out there at the entrances so that way you can't get into the park. Now, up at Sandy Beach, it's right there at the entrance. I mean, as soon as you come off 79, right there at 79, where you turn off to go into Sandy Beach, you can't because there's barricades right there. There's no turning. You can't even try and like get down a little bit and go, uh-oh, we got to turn it around. No, it's right there at the top of the entrance. And then with the Riverwalk, you can drive around at the top of the hill, but as soon as you start going down that ramp that takes you to that lower parking lot, you can't. There's barricades there too. So we've got barricades that keep you from going or using the boat ramp or accessing the park or any type of the public facilities of that. And nobody's ever complained about that until now. So I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between when the city puts those barricades out there to say, no, you can't go in the river and blocks your access. And we saw what happened. People just go around them anyways. And, they go out there and do stuff. And we've had some bad things happen because of that. Other than that, Lord knows how many people have actually gone around the barricade and how many have come back around the barricade I thought no harm to them. Well, it comes to be that what the problem is not so much the fact that those barricades are there. It's that it's actually written down that there will be some kind of barricade there, especially when you say locked gates above flood stage of 26 feet. So if they were just to put floodgates there, that could be, or not floodgates. If they were to put locked gates there that could be locked at flood stage above 26 feet, then I guess we wouldn't be complaining about it. But now that we have it written down, so we've got it written on paper that now that it's a legislative ordinance and it's on paper, now we're upset that there could be locked gates above a flood stage of 26 feet, closing access to the public at these access points. So that's what I don't get. It's like, where's the consistency? Well, it's all a matter of principle that the government is overreached. The government's overreaching. Well, the government's been putting that stuff out since I've been here, and y'all never complained about it. I don't understand why now. I don't know. I guess when you put something in writing, it makes it a lot different compared to when it's just been done like that for eons and nobody's ever, thought anything of it until, well, we were okay with it until you put it in writing. So then maybe if we just didn't have it in writing, we'd just take that part out and then put the gates out there anyways. And maybe, I'm just saying. I don't know, man. I mean, everybody seems to be fine with the other parts except for the closed access. Now, that was the other thing too, is people were going on about, duck hunting and everything else, but, there's other places to access other than just, the public access. The public access is just to keep the general public from going down there and screwing around. Cause the people who have, recently drowned, one thought he was being killed and ran off into the river and jumped in a boat, bounced out the boat and then into the river. And then the second one, no fishing, no hunting. It was just, hey, here's a river. And then the third one was, hey, we've had recent flooding and lake mud is probably filled up with fish. Let's go get them. So, I mean, people got into the river for different reasons other than to fish and hunt. And those three were the worst of those, reasons for getting into the river. So I'm just trying to figure out why the difference though. So when, so I guess my question would be here if you go down to Sandy Beach, right? The river's flooded and everything and they've put the barricades out. Do you just drive around the barricades or move them out the way and go around them and then put them back so that way you can go down there on your own and do what you want to do? Cause I don't think it's really enforceable. I mean, the worst I think they could do is cops can come down there and tell you, hey, you ain't supposed to be down here. You need to go away. This is what you need to be doing. So, hey, don't make me have to. I'm telling you, I'm on a PA system here. Look up the hill. There we are. Yeah. Get your car and your people out of the parking lot. I don't know. I mean, I've never heard anybody complain about getting a ticket. So I don't know if they can actually give you tickets on that or not. I don't know. So anyhow, that's it. I'm just looking for the consistency in it. Why now? I mean, we've been talking about this thing since April. Obviously, people have been asleep at the wheel because they admitted they were asleep at the wheel. And then they're like, now that it's gotten this far and it passed, now we have an issue with it. But before then, an ordinance, what? Somebody wants to pass something? Oh, that's all right, man. I'm cool. Speaking of which, don't forget, tomorrow is Camden City Council meeting. Yes, that means that tomorrow the city council will get together because it'll be the second Tuesday of the month. Keep in mind, if you want to put this on your calendar, I'm just saying that quorum court is every first Tuesday of the month. And then city council is every second Tuesday of the month. So if you would like to attend these meetings and find out what's going on, since most people don't read the paper and other people don't listen to radio and some just refuse to watch social media, that we could keep you informed on what's going on. In fact, we'll take a look here real quick and see what is going on here tomorrow for the meeting. Let's see, the board meeting for tomorrow, if you'd like to join, will be at the City Hall over there off of Van Buren. So they'll have if you're a big fan of Reverend Connor Davis, he'll be out there doing the invocation. So you can see that happening. And then there'll be other boring stuff, like the Pledge of Allegiance, and they'll roll call, and then they'll approve the minutes from last meeting and stuff, and acceptance of the finance report and all. But then they get to the interesting part, which is the audience participation. If you're not familiar with this is the part where you can actually sign up. You actually have to put your name down there, because don't go in there and be like, wait, I wanted to talk. No, you got to actually put your name on the sheet to be able to do all audience participation. That's the part where you get to go up to the little podium and address the city council and the mayor and tell them about whatever it is that's itching you. Or, if you want to pay them a compliment, tell them what good job they've been doing. They love hearing stuff like that, because they rarely ever get enough of that. They get more stuff about, there's this tree in my yard y'all need to chop down, or there's drivers driving around with their high beams up in my window and everything, or there's this water issue flooding my land, or whatever. I mean, there are more complaints than there are, compliments. But anyhow, that's the part where you, the citizen, actually get to participate. And same thing in quorum court too. So let's take a look here, a little deeper here, what's going on after the audience participation. The mayor will do his report, but it's going to be James Nixon from OPED doing a presentation updating the city council about OPED stuff. So if you're wondering why OPED isn't doing their job, or why OPED is doing too much, that's where you get to go and find out exactly what OPED's doing based on what they're saying. Yeah, OPED has meetings too, by the way. If you would like to participate in those, I can't remember which days those are. It's like every third. Now, don't quote me on that, but it's like 10 in the morning though. You're going to have to take an early lunch. So let's see. Some of the stuff that they're talking about doing is declaring a dilapidated structure located at 538 Harrison Street a public nuisance, and order for removal of the same, meaning they're going to vote to have it torn down. And then another one is a resolution declaring the dilapidated structure located at 604 Iowa Street public nuisance, and an order for removal of the same. They're going to tear it down. And then another resolution declaring a dilapidated structure located at 538 Harrison, public nuisance, and order removal of the same. They're going to tear it down. And then a resolution amending the 2022 annual operating budget for other purposes. See, if you like to get involved with how your taxes are spent, poof, there you go. And then another resolution in amending the 2020 annual operating budget, authorizing the disbursement of funds to OPED and other purposes. See, if you don't want money going to OPED, see, there's your chance to be able to get involved there and say, no more money to OPED, or that's not enough. Y'all need to give OPED some more money. And then another resolution authorizing a salary increase amending the 2022 annual operating budget for other purposes. See, so they're going to increase the budget. I'm sorry, they're going to increase salaries out there. In fact, Conway just did one too. They just updated theirs to 15 and 11. 15 for full-time and 11 for part-time. Boy, I tell you what, even during this time of inflation, a raise just doesn't seem to mean enough. It feels like it's putting you back at $7.25. But see, there's an opportunity to be able to get involved in that. A resolution amending the 2022 annual operating budget, authorizing the disbursement of funds for repairs and other purposes. So these are the things that will be discussed tomorrow at the Camden City Council meeting, and that starts at 7:00. And there's an opportunity to be able to get involved in your local civics and be able to, not be surprised when one day something becomes law and you're like, when that happened? We've been working on that for 4 months, 3 months, or what have you. And it passed because nobody was there to block it. Everybody was in favor of it. And why is that, though? Everyone who's in favor of something, they're there. And the ones that are not in favor of something are not there, typically. Unless it has, something to do with entertainment district or something like that. And even that took a few reads before finally people caught on. I mean, we had it in the paper. We talked about it on the radio. And then it was when it finally came up for a vote. And then that's when people showed up. I don't know. I don't want to tell you the people and stuff and things. I mean, what's the point in doing, what's the point in having a local paper and a local radio show and social media if nobody's going to use it? So anyhow, we can post that up there on the Facebook page so that way y'all can go look at that. They're supposed to put it up there on the city page. But I don't know about all that there. Let's see. Ooh, there's some audio there. We don't want that audio. Did y'all see this, by the way, over to Camden Walmart? There was power surges that were running through the building, and it looked like some kind of trippy concert light show, like Pink Floyd was there or something. But no, man, it was an actual power surge that ran through the building, made all the lights flicker and flash and everything. So if you were epileptic or anything like that, yeah, you didn't want to be there, man, because all that flashing and everything would have definitely got you triggered. And that would be bad. We don't want you triggered. So they pretty much had to shut down the Walmarts over there until they could get that fixed. Not sure how long it took them to get it fixed, but man, it sure was trippy, dude. It was pretty far out, man, because it was like all over the building, man. All on the inside. It was crazy. So anyhow, all right, man, I've got to take a break. And then on the other side of that, we'll get into some other stuff that's going on there as well. All that and more right here. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas.
Let's do it.
News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Yeah, it's a little weird there. Wild Thing along with Jamie's Crying. Van Halen and Tone Loc. A little mashup there. Yeah, two kind of go together. News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas, coming into a Monday here. This week, man, we got a full work week. Last week, we got a little bit of leftovers from 4th of July. Got a 4-day work week. But now, man, we are back to 5 days, and it's going to be that way until Labor Day weekend. That'll be the next time that we actually get a Monday off. Other than that, though, and then we go back to the grind, man. So here we are, and we get into the summer heat, the summer beat of it all. 70 degrees outside right now. Feels like 74 out there, high of 94. But we will see some rain later in the forecast this week as well. Speaking of weather and hot temperatures and everything, I don't know about you, but maybe you were looking really forward to that opening of the pool over there at Carnes Park this past weekend and was really getting excited and everything. Was like, oh yeah, because it's going to be a lot of fun and everything. And not only that, I was scheduled to DJ out there. The boy was going to do the early part because that's, when it was going to be a mixed crowd, and that would be good training for him to learn how to DJ a mixed crowd. And there would be kids out there, adults of the like. And then after 6, it was supposed to be Adult Swim. And then that's when I take over and play all the adult stuff that, well, Mikey wouldn't be familiar with, but it'd still be good training for him anyways. So anyhow, it was supposed to be the mayor's pool party on Saturday, but the Ouachita County Health Officer, Dr. Jessica Smith, came in and said that she recommended delaying the pool party with the rising COVID numbers here in South Arkansas. Dr. Smith was said reopening would be fine, but the city needs to take measures to avoid crowds. So it would be okay to open up the pool for Saturday, but, you'd have to do whatever it is that you have to do to keep from creating crowds. Well, this when Camden Public Works Director Kevin Franklin said under the circumstances, the best option is to just delay the opening of the pool. He said he had a conversation with Dr. Smith and who called regarding COVID. I'm sorry, hang on here. I'm trying to read past tense with not reading past tense. Had a conversation with Dr. Jared Smith, who is our county health officer. He called her in regards of COVID in his staff. He's got several people out with COVID as we speak. He also inquired about having the mayor's pool party with recent upward spikes of COVID. Dr. Smith advised against having that large of a gathering right now at the pool. So there's no way to enforce any kind of social distancing for a pool party like that. And it'd be huge anyways, because everybody would be out there piling in, wanting to get in and get wet and get cooled off. So yeah, that just wasn't going to happen. So best thing to do was, Director Kevin Franklin said best thing to do is just do it another time. So with that, he apologized for any and all inconveniences that may have caused, but they're looking forward to opening in the near future. Just Dr. Smith advised not to do it right now. So not only is, Dr. Smith the Ouachita County Health Officer as well, she also operates First Choice Family Care over there, 476 Hospital Drive here in Camden. And, of course, she's also available to answer your medical questions and all that during the roundtable. You know, that thing we do after this show at 7:30, which is simulcasted right here on 92.7 and on Y95 every Thursday morning at 7:30 when she can make it. Because sometimes, business gets in the way and she got to go do medical stuff and not able to make it in. But you can always send in your questions. You can send those in via messenger. You can also text them in anonymously so nobody knows it's you at 501-313-0944. And you can call in live at 836-9559. Yeah, that's it. 836-9559 live. And you can interact and ask your questions as well. So many different ways of being able to do that. You can mail them in too if you wanted to. So anyhow, yeah, it seems that there's another rise of, it's kind of mixed though. It seems like Union County and Columbia County have decreased in COVID numbers, but, Lafayette and Nevada counties have seen a recent rise along with Ouachita County. And that's according to the Arkansas Department of Health. So yeah, that kind of stunk. That I was looking forward to it. I don't know about you. I was actually looking forward to doing a little pool party, being able to, do another pool party because it seems like Sunday, a year ago yesterday, was the last time I actually got to do a pool party. And of all things, that was a wedding pool party. It was a wedding that was done at the pool. And yes, after the wedding, everybody, got out of their formal wear, jumped into bikinis and swimsuits and swim trunks and all that and just jumped in the pool. It was a hot, humid day that day too. And we was right off the lake. We was right off Lake Ouachita. Doing all that, man. And I mean, that was a struggle to get through, but man, it's definitely worth it after that. And then later on that night, man, they got freaky deaky because, just as we started packing everything up, that's when the thunderstorms rolled in. And man, that was crazy too, cause that was one crazy storm that blew through there, man. It got pretty violent at times with the lightning and then the rain just came down really hard and stuff. And just hunkered down, but couldn't leave to come back to Camden. So I just kind of stayed there overnight and waited out the storm and got up early in the morning and took off and came back here. So yeah, crazy stuff, crazy out there. But it's been a year now since I've done a pool party. So I was really looking forward to that. And actually it would have been almost right on the mark too, because Sunday marked a year to the day was the last time we did that pool party. And Mikey got to get on that as well. But it would have been a day short doing that on Saturday, marking that year. So that would have been a lot of fun. But we'll let you know when they set a new date and when they plan on having another pool party and reopening of Carnes Park. Stand by. We got to take a break right here on News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Golly, take me back in time. The Cure, Just Like Heaven. I mean, that came out in 1987. Show me how you do that trick. Oh my gosh, and the memories too. Thinking back to that time at McDonald's, when I was giving McDonald's some of the best years of my life during the school season. And then going off to Terrell, Texas to play radio. Back in 87. That's when it all started, man. There was this girl that was working drive-thru, man. She's a teenager too, and man, really had a crush on her and everything. And I remember that song playing down in the basement because our McDonald's had a basement, and hearing that coming out of the radio and sitting there at the top of the stairs from the basement because the stairs came right at the edge of drive-thru. So if you're kind of looking at it there, kind of leaning on the rail of the staircase at the top and looking over to the left over in drive-thru where she was, and just kind of conversing with her between cars and things like that, and managed to actually score and get an acceptance there for a date night. Yeah, so Doc Bryce got the Doc Bryce got the yes. And man, I was scared too because well, I mean, I got the first part out the way, right? So I got the yes, which I had to really work up to. I got the yes. So now it was a matter of, I gotta like take her somewhere to eat. So I was going to take her to, like the King's Table. No, wait. Was it the King's Table then? It was, or was it Bob's? It was like, wherever King's Table was there off of Pioneer in Arlington, man. That's where it was. So anyhow, I'm like 14 years old, man. I have no idea what anything costs. All I know is it's $350 to go eat somewhere at a restaurant, man. It takes a lot of money, man, to go eat at a restaurant. Oh boy! So I took my entire paycheck with me that day, and I didn't even think it was going to be enough. I was so scared, man, because I thought I was going to end up having to actually do dishes. That's how paranoid I was. I thought that I wouldn't have enough money, and that I would end up overspending, and that I would be embarrassed because then I'd have to go do dishes or something like that to get out of it. But luckily, at 14, I don't have a car, and I can't drive anyways. So luckily, my mom was able to drop us off. Wasn't that nice of her? That was so nice of my mom back then. Yes, that's what moms are for you. I tell you what. So she knew to come back and pick us up at a set time. So we were definitely running the clock on this one. And got in there and did like I remembered how my parents do it, because that was like the first time I ever ate without my parents, eating with this girl, and it was the first time I ever like went on a dinner date like that, and had no idea what anything cost and how much it was going to cost me, and just totally freaked out. And luckily now get this is back in '87, so with a paycheck of $84 at the time, I was able to cover everything. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was, yeah. Boy, Doc Bryce was sweating it. I tell you what. Woo! And I think at the time, the minimum wage was $3.25 an hour. So, doing a couple hours after school got me around $84 for that paycheck. So I was able to, show that girl a good time. And it actually worked out pretty good. No, we didn't get serious or anything like that. It was just one of those things that was like, hey, like to be able to, I'm hungry and I would like for you to accompany me other than, eating at McDonald's. So it was a first try and not bad. It actually pulled it off. And the reason why I tell you that is because Conway City Council raised their minimum wage from to $13 an hour for part-time employees and $15 for full-time employees at their June 28th meeting. So they are actually going to be kicking that in. Council member Andy Hawkins led the meeting as Mayor Bart Castleberry was not in attendance. He was out on special assignment. The financial report for May showed a 8% increase in property tax revenue and a 17% increase in sales tax revenue compared to last year. So I'd say, hey man, we got some extra money. Let's go ahead and raise some raises. So, for the ordinance for a new private club permit and liquor license was passed. So, that helps out too, because, it's a weird thing about liquor licenses and stuff like that. There's a very high tax on liquor. Yes. And everybody gets their cut on that one there. And so, if you've got a nice little nightclub or something like that running, in your city, and as long as everybody does what they're supposed to be doing, or even if it's one of those nice microbreweries or something like that running in your city, doing craft beers and things like that, you'd be amazed at how much taxes the city can actually make off that, because there's a high tax on your alcohol. I'm just saying, kind of going back to something else, everybody's griping about, Camden's too expensive. Maybe we can get some of that revenue in here and help lower down them taxes if we start seeing a surplus or something like that. But anyhow, they showed an 8% increase in property tax value and 17% increase in sales tax compared to the last year. So I guess they decided there, you know what, great time to go ahead and raise some raises. Raise some. What does I say? What was it that I said? Raise some. Yeah. Raise some raises. Yeah, everybody gets raises. Yeah, that's it. Say that 5 times fast. So anyhow, hopefully they will get to enjoy that. And that $15 and $13 won't feel like $7.25 an hour with the way inflation is right now. See, that's the other thing too. Even back then at 14, I didn't understand inflation or what that meant or really understood what anything cost, man. I just knew that this is what you do. You place your order and you get it and you pay it at the end, not really sure how much it's all going to cost. Yeah, the prices and stuff are in the menu and everything, which was definitely reassuring because I said, oh my gosh. Okay. It's not going to cost $3.50 to sit here. And see, I didn't have a value of what money was back then at 14. So, I mean, to me, spending $3.50 at a restaurant, especially a low end restaurant, to me would be acceptable because I wouldn't know the difference. So congratulations to those out there who work for the city, full-time and part-time employees and the extra raise that they got there. So hopefully they get to enjoy it and it helps pay off because it's going to feel like it didn't make much of a difference, especially now that you're going to be paying more in taxes. That's the fun part, is when you get that raise, especially depending on how big that raise is, then you end up eating most of that up in taxes. I actually had that happen with CBS Radio. They offered me a raise and everything, and I was very honored. And I was like, all right, man, finally getting some recognition for my hard work. And then when I started looking at everything, started realizing, I was like, wait a minute. I'm going to get a raise, but I'm not going to see it because that raise is going to bump me up into the next tax bracket. And then next thing you know, that money, that raise that I was supposed to get is going to go to the IRS. So I really won't see it. Uncle Sam will. And I'm thinking, well, why in the world does Uncle Sam get more money? I mean, I'm getting a raise. The raise is for my good work, but I'm not going to see that raise. It's going to go to taxes and stuff. So I actually turned down the raise. They thought that was weird too. And I was like, why? I'm not going to see it anyway. So what's the difference? All I'm going to do is end up paying more taxes. I'd be better off staying where I'm at right now and make less money. I know it's weird. It's after you understand the value of a dollar and what it really means and how far it really goes. So it looks like that thing with the recreational marijuana, if you own it, is still getting some movement there. We talked about it, I think Thursday or Friday though. But a group advocating the legalization of adult recreational marijuana submitted thousands of signatures to the Secretary of State's office on Friday. A lawyer for the group said he thinks an amendment will be on the ballot in November. So if you're for it, vote for it, I guess. And if you're not, well, vote against it. And remember, it only took 4 times for medical marijuana, if you own it, to actually pass on the ballot. Yeah, I mean, they tried 4 different times to get it passed, and it finally passed on the 4th time. And a lot of people were shocked, too. Even the state was shocked. Your state legislatures were like, oh, what are we supposed to do now? And they really didn't even want it. They didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want it to pass. And they didn't want to sit there. They dragged their feet for about a year. Roughly. About a year before they got yelled at. It was like, hey, man, like, this is a new state law. You got to do something with it, man. So, where's our dispensaries and stuff? Oh, yeah. We'll get on that right away. Yeah. But then, look at how much money it's been bringing in. The revenue just from the taxes has been over $1 million, if not more. $500,000, $1.5 million or so. So, I mean, the state's been getting some pretty good revenue off that stuff. And, yeah, they may not like it, but they're like, hey, you know what? We're actually, getting a surplus of money here. It's pretty nice. So Reasonable Growth Arkansas claimed that it submitted more than 193 signatures. Under Arkansas law, at least slightly more than 89,000 valid signatures are required. And once they're verified, the proposed amendment goes before the Arkansas Board of Election Commissioners, who will then decide whether to approve the ballot addition. So that's where that's at. And then, of course, you know, this would be for adults 21 and up. And this would not be for children. I know you're probably sitting there saying, yeah, but kids could get cigarettes too. So what's to say they can't get pot either? What's to say they ain't getting pot now? And it's supposed to be illegal, but you're still finding pot somehow. And then the other thing is too, is this would allow you to be able to cultivate and distribute and everything else, but it will not allow you to be able to grow the stuff at home in your house for recreational use, because it could allow children easier access to the marijuanas, and you got to think about the children. So that's where that's at. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah. I forgot, man. I wanted to give a shout out to Deputy Seal over there at the Dallas County Sheriff's Department. Yeah. Deputy County Seal stopped the dock that he did on Friday. Was zipping on through there, just on the other side of Sparkman, and happened to notice out of nowhere, man, way back off in the distance, man, these blue lights and white lights, man, started flashing. And I'm thinking, I guess he's in a hurry. So I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh man, there's like nowhere to pull over, man. There's like no shoulder or anything. This guy's got to zip around me too, man. So I didn't want to like slow down or anything like that and be a burden to him, thinking that he was on a call. Well, then I went ahead and pulled off of a side county road, and next thing you know, he catches up with me and he pulls over too. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So yeah, he stopped me. And then he was like, oh man, it's you. I was like, oh hey man, I know you. We've encountered before, so it's not our first. Now he should get special recognition because he's got me twice, whereas all the other ones have only gotten me once. So Deputy Seal actually got Doc caught all up in his net twice already. Yeah, how about that? The first time was going through. Why is it always Sparkman? The first time was going through Sparkman, and I was coming back to Camden because I had just left Hot Springs. I had to go over there and get some transmitter parts and stuff for KBEU, and went out there to U.S. stations, US 97, KLAZ, all them out there, and got some parts from them to bring back here. And on my way back, I cut through Sparkman, right? So I know I'm doing a little over the speed limit. I'm doing like 5 miles over the speed limit. I'm doing 35 and a 30. And I know I am. But yeah, he says that he got me doing 40 and a 30. I'm like, no, you didn't. You got me 35 and a 30. And he's like, no, I got you. He's like, look, you know what? We can discuss this at court. And just give me your driver's license and registration. And so I'm like, fine. And then I give it to him, and he's looking over my stuff. He's like, hey, I know you. And I'm like, yeah, you do. And he's like, you're Doc Bryce. And I was like, yes, I am. And so then we caught up for a little bit, and then he cut me loose. And that was the first time. Then the second time, I don't know where he was hiding, but man, he really had to, and it's not like I was booking it or anything. I guess that he just decided that finally, after I passed him, maybe I should go get that guy. And then it took him a while to catch up with me because, man, the speed limit out there is 55. Okay, I was doing 65, all right? I mean, that's what I was doing, 65 and a 55. And it was on the straight part, too. I mean, it's a straight shot, so, I mean, I'm just cruising nicely. And he finally caught up with me, though. And then pulled me over and go, oh, man, it's you. And I was like, yeah, it's me. Yeah, I know you. He's like, yeah, I got you last time. And I said, I remember that. So then we just ended up catching up. Sitting there on the side of the road, just catching up on stuff. So big shout out there to Deputy Seal. And so he gets credit. Definitely big kudos though, because he got me twice. Mostly everybody else around here's only gotten me once for something. So, yeah, there you go. I need to start like a wall or something, man. I need to start like a wall of all the deputies. And we'll include the locals too. Of those who've pulled me over, so that way we give them recognition and stuff. And then I don't know about stadies, man. Stadies are a little weird, they're like feral cats. They just they don't play well with others. I've noticed. Fine officers, but they just don't play well with others. Take that back, man. Well, I mean, there's oh shoot, who am I trying to think of? Dag nabbit. Oh shoot, now I can't think of his name. There's Harper and there's another one. Harper's cool, man. I like Harper, man. He's all right. There's another one that I can't think of his name. He got me before, and I was on the way to the 4th of July deal, and that was last year though. But man, I can't remember who that was. Dag nabbit. Well, anyhow, man, I got to take a break. We'll be right back. News Talk 92 KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. It was Starnes. Trooper Starnes was the other one. Oh, and if I'm going to mention Trooper Starnes, I got to mention Trooper Williams too. So Williams, Starnes, Harper, and Parker. I got special love for Parker, though. There's a special place in my heart for Parker. And, of course, can't always forget Sequoia either. Sequoia's pretty cool. I know everybody talks bad about him. Man, Sequoia, we still... Nah, man. If you're on the other end of the pen of the or business of the pen, like his side of the pen, he's not so bad. He's actually pretty cool. But if you're on your side of his pen, yeah, it is not so cool. Because he's all business, man, all business. And, oh, I'm sure Parker's probably the same way. I have seen Parker laugh. I know, right? I mean, you're probably like, what? No. And where's my thing at? Where's my thing? Where's my conspiracy thing at? I need my conspiracy deal where, whoa, where'd it go? I don't know where it is. Well, okay. Well, I was going to do that, but, I don't know where it is. Wow. I really don't know where it is. So, there's that. And, yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I've actually seen Parker smile. Yes. Next on Current Affair. That's what I was looking for. So, yeah, I've seen him smile. I've seen him laugh at everything, but, that's, on the opposite end of the pen. Opposite business end of the pen there. So, like I said, though, man, I mean, I got a special place for Parker in my heart, though. And then, but yeah, you can't forget your troopers out there. Cause, those guys, man, they're the top of the food chain right there, man. They at the top. Yeah. So, you got to give them, some recognition out there. In fact, one of them got some, recognition. The old Gov, the old Hutch there, gave some recognition for a state trooper out there in Northwest Arkansas. Now, granted, it's not around here or any of our guys, but, hey, you know what? A statey is a statey. Once a statey, always a statey. So, the troopers' action, was, business as usual, the state troopers and police officers, but, the Weather Channel's photographer said, you don't often have a chance to photograph the good work of police officers for others to see. So, the trooper that Charles Peak saw in action is Richard, I think that's pronounced Surratt, who patrols Northwest Arkansas. One day in mid-May, Trooper Surratt went to the aid of a driver who was stranded at mile marker 78 on Interstate 49 near Rogers. So when the trooper arrived, Jim Dacus was standing beside his car preparing to change his tire. Troopers aren't required to assist in flat tires. They do direct traffic and generally ensure the tire changer is safe. Put some lights on them and stuff like that. Let people oncoming traffic know that there's a situation up ahead. But Trooper Surratt says that he's changed hundreds of tires, so he changed the tire. So Trooper Surratt, let's see, where did I leave off here? Wait a minute, hang on. Where did I leave off, man? Because the screen just jumped on me. So, okay. His father was also in law enforcement, started a career as Benton County deputy, and then rose to the ranks of corporal. Then the driver with the flat tire, Jim Dacus, is a 75-year-old veteran who grew up in Wynn and served as Air Force intelligence officer during the Vietnam War. So by the time Charles Peak happened upon the scene, the guy from the Weather Channel, the tire was changed, but he just happened to catch the trooper talking to Mr. Dacus through the driver's window and filmed their smiles and their handshake. And then Mr. Peak posted the film on his Twitter page with the words, "A must-see." I saw Trooper Surratt changing the tire for this motorist. He finished just as I got the video turned on. Police are doing many good things, but not often caught on video. Thank you, Trooper Surratt. Is what he said there. And that's true too, man. I mean, that's what we see in the news and the media and everything. We always hear about cops doing bad stuff, and cops are always harassing people and always giving people the business, man. You gotta stop oppression, man, because that's what you're doing. So, I mean, we hear a lot about that in the media, but rarely ever do, they ever get some loving. And, they do good things out there. A lot more than they do bad things. It's just, bad stuff sells papers, if you will. And it gets ratings too. And nobody cares about, somebody doing good things out there, because it's like, bore. But then when we catch them, especially if you could take it out of context too. Now that really, boosts ratings and boosts clicks and also boosts social media presence too. So, to basically at the expense of the police officer or trooper or law enforcement agent, in order to gain notoriety and also gain clicks and gain ratings and stuff, these guys get sacrificed out there for the benefit of someone else. So these are part of the fabric that hold our communities together. They're among the best trained law enforcement officers in the country. Dedicated and always ready to serve. They set aside risks each day to make their state a safer, better place to be. So that's what a state police director, Colonel Bill Bryant, said at the law enforcement group. And then Trooper Morris, by the way, was honored for pursuing a stolen car even after the suspect fired a weapon and shot the trooper in the chest. Fortunately, Trooper Morris was wearing a bulletproof vest. So even though Trooper's threats assistance was a routine tire change, he knows firsthand that even routine tasks can end badly. Years ago, as a Benton County deputy, he investigated a fatal accident at the same intersection where he helped Mr. Dacus. The victim was at night and was struck and killed by a car that was while this person was changing a flat tire. That's what I was saying, like putting lights on someone. When you have a police vehicle pull up behind you, that's what they do, man. They turn their lights on and everything and put lights on you. So that way oncoming traffic knows that you're there. But man, I'm telling you, I've seen this firsthand myself when it comes to nighttime. Don't think those lights are bulletproof, because I too have been in a situation where, I've worked a scene with police, and especially during drunk 30, and those lights, those overheads, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, they're like, it's like moths to a flame. The drunks are actually attracted to them, and they see them and they actually drive into the lights that are flashing there. And I've seen that firsthand many times, not just one time, but several more times than I can count now. But it's just amazing how, these police cars will get nailed. Luckily I haven't seen where an officer has been injured in a situation. They were usually out of the car, but I have seen where, they had the car parked kind of sideways. And then the car, so that way when the drunk came in, they didn't hit them tail on, bumper to bumper. They actually hit them broadside in the rear. And I guess that's supposed to be less damaging, but also keep the tank from blowing up too. Because we saw that too with the Crown Vics there when you hit them at 65 miles an hour. I mean, anything's going to go, boom. When you hit it at 65 miles an hour. Top of the hour news, local news, and all that and more. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. News Talk 92, KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Welcome here to the 7 o'clock hour. 70 degrees outside. Feels like 74 out there with a high 94. Got some rain later on in the forecast coming for you later in the week. Just giving a little recognition out there to those state troopers over in Northwest Arkansas. And, I guess for me, it's kind of a nostalgic thing, I guess. And I guess it's also a reason why I give, the ones that I know, why I give them a hard time, and play with them and stuff like that. Because, when I was a kid, it used to be, back in the 70s, man, we had cops that worked the neighborhood and we knew them and they knew us. And not in a bad way either. It was a different time, and, these cops had a beat, and it was always the same cops that, always worked the area. So when we saw them, they knew us, they knew where we lived and who we belonged to. And the same thing, I mean, we knew them, and so it was like nothing to wave at them as you're riding your bike and they happen to be, just cruising the neighborhood or sometimes out walking around. But that was the thing for me was that's kind of what I remember, man. We used to, razz and give each other a hard time, and it was just a playful kind of thing. I guess now with overpopulation or population increase, and it seems like a decrease in law enforcement agents to enforce the area, and budget cuts and everything else, and you just don't have those things anymore like you used to, where you used to actually know who patrolled your neighborhood. And the people who patrolled the neighborhood knew the kids. And so I don't know. I think it just made for a better environment because, somebody was watching over us, making sure that we were okay. But we never had anything against the cops, though, man. I mean, we just grew up in a neighborhood where, if we got in trouble, well, we got in trouble. And that one time I got in trouble, oh boy. That was when I got busted. for allegedly riding on a stolen 3-wheeler, which I didn't know was stolen at the time. And then the cop that came out and dealt, there was 3 cops that came out. One of them knew me. The other 2 were from somewhere else. I didn't recognize them, but one of them did. And he knew better. He was like, cause he knew the other kid that I was riding with. He knew that kid pretty well too. And was like, okay, all right. Looks like Doc got messed up in something here. So he took me off to the side and was like, all right, so what happened? And then I told him, he goes, and he believed me because, well, he knows what kind of kid I am. He knows what kind of kid the other kid is, and took my word for it. And then explained to me, things we gotta go through the process, man. You got to do the process. And so, when he took me home, because he knew where to take me, I rode up in the front seat. And so we sat out there in front of the house for a few minutes, debating on how we were going to present this to my mom. Because I was like, dude, my mom's going to kill me, man. It doesn't matter whose fault it was. It doesn't matter if I'm guilty or innocent, whatever, man. She's going to kill me. And so he was like, well, you want to tell her? Or you want me to tell her? And he was going to stand there with me while I tell her if I told her. But I was like, nah, man, you tell her. And I stood behind him. So that way, if she tried to lash out at me, she had to go through him to get to me. I used him as a barrier. But man, that kind of relationship is not there anymore. If it is, then I don't know where it is. But man, I'd like to find that and recognize that and give props for it too. But I guess, that's where my demeanor comes from when it comes to playing with cops, is just, that's how it was for me growing up, man. That's what you did, because you're not in trouble or anything. You're not sitting there trying to hide anything. It's just, you have rapport with them. And especially being in a small town, that reminds me a lot of that. Now, when it came to being in a Dallas-Fort Worth, I mean, there's a few that I would see on a regular basis, but then there was always new faces popping in. And then the old faces were always disappearing. So it was just one of those things, man. It was just hard to keep up with all that. But I kind of got that old home feeling here when it comes to dealing with officers around the area. But yeah, it's good to give them recognition when the time comes. And the governor did that as well, giving them recognition too. Other things that the old gov there is doing, the old Hutch, he responded to Biden's executive order. On July 8th, the old Hutch there responded after President Joe Biden took executive action to protect access to abortions. The executive order is intended to mitigate some potential penalties women seeking abortions may face after a ruling. Pardon me, but it's limited in its ability to safeguard access to abortions nationwide. In a social post, the old Hutch there called Biden's remarks misleading. His attack on the Supreme Court, Gov says, and disrespect for the role of the states further divides our country. And Hutch continues on saying there's been incorrect information about the Arkansas's trigger law. And here's a few facts that he added. He said the law does not impact contraception, including IUDs and Plan B. Because that was the thing I heard, man, was especially Plan B. It's like, oh, man, now we're not going to be able to buy Plan B over the counter anymore, man, because, trigger law, man. So you can't do anything, man. You're just stuck with stuff. It also does not impact treatment for tubal pregnancies. And the current Arkansas law prohibits abortions with the exception to save the life of the mother. And over the past 7 years, we have worked to provide more resources to expecting mothers, and we are continuing our efforts to care for all life in Arkansas. That's what the governor pointed out there. Arkansas Attorney General Leslie Rutledge also issued a statement saying 2 weeks ago, the U.S. Supreme Court correctly ruled that the Roe decision was wrong, and the day it was decided almost 50 years ago. So with that, she said, despite President Biden's grandstanding, the Supreme Court made it clear that there is no constitutional right to an abortion. She added, in Arkansas, we will always protect life. So Biden acknowledged the limitations of the order, saying that it would require an act of Congress to restore access to abortions in more than a dozen states where strict limits or total bans have gone into effect in the wake of the court's ruling. So the fastest way to restore Roe is to pass a national law, Biden said. The challenge is go out and vote. For God's sakes, this is an election year. That's what he said. He says the challenge is to go out and vote, for God's sakes. It's an election year. Vote, 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 vote. Vote blue. Yes, he wants you to vote blue. So, yes. Nah, man, I heard it all, man. I heard all this. I'm like, dude, the way some people were reacting is like, they totally banned it. Like you have to go to Canada or Mexico just to be able to get an abortion. I was like, dude, they only outlawed it in like 24 states. So, there are 50 states. So let's see, if I do the math, that means 24, say 25 and 25 is 50, right? We have 50 states. Well, Obama said we have 57, but I think we're still at 50 because there's only 50 on the flag. And let's see, so you take 24 to the 25, so that means 26. So that means 26 states, right? That carry the one? Move the decimal over one? That means 26 states out there, it's still illegal. It's still illegal. 24, it's illegal. So with that, though, I mean, yeah, you're going to have to go out of your way and make an effort to actually go get an abortion. But I mean, the same thing can be said about anything else in life. I mean, there's certain states that let you do certain things and there's other states that don't. So, if you want to go walk around downtown and just walk up and down the street smoking a joint without being harassed by the cops, man, giving you the business, well, you go to Colorado. Now, I mean, when you come back from Colorado, I mean, state police aren't going to be waiting there at the state line, right there at Texas or Oklahoma, sitting there going, come here, we know what you did. We know why you went to Colorado. Come here, we want to see if you brought anything back. Oh, you didn't bring anything back? Well, we're arresting you anyways because you smoked pot in Colorado. And that's illegal here and you're a resident here, so you can't do that. And people actually thought that to be true, that if you go to another state and go get an abortion and you come back, that you could be arrested for getting an abortion in another state. Yeah, people actually believe that. Yeah. I mean, it's just, crazy. Just everybody having a knee-jerk reaction. And that was the other thing, too. I'm like, dude, the battle's not done. Because everybody on the left, right, they're upset because now you can't kill a living organism. And then they're like, this is the end of the world and everything. So let's go break some stuff, man. Let's go burn some stuff down. Yeah, let's go kill some people. But in reality, it's like, dude, y'all can still pass it on the federal level. I'm just saying the game's not over, man. Yeah, you got knocked back a level, but it's not over, man. All you got to do is get the right people in place and do it on a national level. That's your next move, is to do that. But now they'd rather wallow and everything and boo-hoo and, life sucks and life is miserable. And I don't know. It seems like they're not happy unless they're miserable. But that's just my perception, though. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Let's see here. Should pregnant women, though, get to use the carpool lane? Since we're talking about this anyways, right? Now that we've recognized that fetuses and everything are people, they are human beings, I say they're living organisms. In fact, I say they're a parasite, just to be more specific to biology. So, question was trending online this weekend. Should pregnant women get to use the carpool lane? Here's why it's in the news. A few weeks ago, a woman in Texas named Brandy Baton got pulled over while driving in a carpool lane. So when the cop asked her where her second passenger was, she pointed at her belly. She was 34 weeks pregnant at the time, but the cop told her that didn't count. So she politely told him it should count according to Texas law. Per law, you have to have at least two individuals in your car to drive in the carpool lane. Texas law defines an individual as, quote, a human being who is alive, including an unborn child. Now it makes headlines because of the big Supreme Court decision that overturned Roe versus Wade last month. So the cop rejected Brandy's argument and gave her a $275 ticket, but she's fighting it in court and she's set to go before the judge next Wednesday. So we'll definitely have to see how that turns out and if she wins her argument. Now, that was the other thing, too. I never could understand the inconsistency. I hate inconsistency. So we've always argued that it's not a living thing. It can't breathe. And it's like, well, it has a respiratory system because it's actually using a respiratory system to move blood around and everything. It's just not, breathing air through lungs. It's doing it through an umbilical cord. So, I mean, it still has a respiratory system. So it is breathing in a sense because fish breathe, right? Do we say that fish breathe, but they don't have lungs? They have gills, yes. The gills make them breathe. So then we say that it's not a living thing. The fetus is it's not a person, right? So then we have Scott Peterson, who ends up killing his wife because she's pregnant and then kills the baby, right? So then California makes an exception that the unborn, which is not a person, which can be killed, is now a person. So he gets tried for a double murder and convicted of a double murder because not only did he kill his wife, but he killed his unborn baby. So now we recognize it as an unborn child. for this case. Now that you've done that, now you've created case law, which means some up and coming hot-headed lawyer that wants to make a name for himself can actually use that to prove the point that the state of California actually recognizes an unborn fetus as a person. Because how can you try somebody for murder when it's not alive? What? Yeah, I know. See? So it seems to be we can change the definition around just to fit whatever agenda that we need to pass. So it's always been an unborn non-human thing, and you can kill it. But in this case, because I mean, why not take Peterson and give him murder one murder, right? So why make it 2 murders? Why? You got him on the first one. You don't need to get him on the second one. Why? That way you can get him in there for more time. The other thing is too is Bush 43. Yeah, Bush 43. Had to think about that for a second. Passed Lacey's Connors law, which protects pregnant women from incidences like that. So that way, should an outside force or something kill a fetus, that person would actually be charged with murder. Except for doctors. So how do you murder something that the medical field says is not a living thing, but yet according to biology, it's a living thing based on the elements and things that it can do? You see what I mean? It's conflicting. It's all over the place. There's no consistency in it whatsoever. So now we can argue that, an unborn child is, a human, and that is 2 passengers. Even though it's not occupying, maybe they'll have to rewrite the law to say that more than so many seats have to be occupied, because technically she could argue that, yes, the unborn child is another person, but they're both sitting in the same seat. So only 1 seat is occupied. So to be able to be in the carpool lane, you would have to occupy at minimum 2 seats to qualify to be in the carpool lane. Now, if you have because most cars can easily fit 4 people. So you could say 2 or more, because some vehicles will fit 5. Mine will fit 6. I can have 3 in the front, 3 in the back. So you have to have a bare minimum. So maybe you got to change the law to now that, because if they're going to recognize this as a person, but then you can't use the carpool lane. See, there's conflict right there. So yeah, you'd have to change the law to say at minimum 2 seats must be filled. So in this case, that would be 1 seat, even though there were 2 occupants, that'd be 1 seat. So therefore she would not qualify to be in the carpool lane. But that's not how the law is written. I don't know how the law is written. It's just 2 or more people. You got to have 2 or more people in the vehicle. Well, she had at least 2 people in the vehicle, according to Texas law. I'm just saying, I hate inconsistencies. Speaking of laws and Texas and everything, Texas is one of the sweatiest cities in America. Yeah, someone should do a study on these cities with the worst BO. Like body odor, because I wonder how closely it would match up with this. Somebody ranked the 10 sweatiest cities in America by looking at things like the average summer temperature, humidity, how likely you are to feel a nice breeze, and how easy it is to find some shade to hang out in. They also looked at the population density. So being around other sweaty people was also something that they factored in. After all, the sweatiest cities in America are Orlando, Florida. All the top 10 are actually in 4 states: Florida, Texas, Louisiana, and Alabama. The 10 sweatiest cities are Orlando, Corpus Christi, Texas, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Tallahassee, Houston, Montgomery, Alabama, Cape Coral, Florida, Laredo, Texas, and Jacksonville, Florida. Got to take a break. Be right back. News Talk 92. KBEU, the news and talk of South Arkansas. Roundtable's up next.